Hey, what's up? It is Mexicola. Showcast another game here from 1.5. It's a aniketos game. Just here at the load screen. Start up right now. So it is aniketos as the SM, and Wicked Auts, I'll just call him Wicked, as the Hive Tyrant, which seems to be a pretty popular Tyranid hero right now, with the way the new game plays. So aniketos, I mean, I've heard of him a bit. I'm kind of a lurker on GR. I do know that he's an SM player, and I believe he's a strategy specialist. I haven't seen much of him, but for some reason his name sticks. So I thought this would be a good match. This is an ESL match, I guess. Didn't really read the upload post, but should be a good game. Last game I showcasted, I commented that usually the way you want to go is with NID is get a three Hormagaunts start. But again, building Termagants, I guess players are trying to be balanced, try not to get stuck in just having a melee based army and getting kited or something. But I never see Termagants last past the 3-4 minute mark. You just never, at the end of the game, you never see them still there because they suck. I mean, low damage. They have that cripple ability, which is pretty cool, but you don't see it. It might be useful in mirror matches. Kiting Hormagaunts with cripple, that might be the way to go. But especially against Space Marines, what you're gonna fight I mean, they did manage to push that scout squad off, but they weren't in cover. They were capping. I think against any ranged unit, they're gonna die. Maybe they're cost effective. I don't know. Maybe the reinforced cost on them is worth having them tie up units in ranged combat. But I just don't think it's smart. I think three Hormagaunts and upgrading them with adrenal glands is the way to go. Aniketos has gotten the kind of duh build. You build attack squad, you have to, and supplemented that with another scout squad, which is kind of another choice that I think, unless you're saving up for something, I think it's the best choice to make, because you have that wreck floating around. Why not buy a scout squad and get some extra capping, some extra damage? If the attacks are soaking up damage. I mean, the scouts do carry Space Marine bolters, so it's kind of like Space Marines in the back, a cheap Space Marine squad, supplementing your range damage. So I mean, that's good. But just kind of get worked, really. Unless all of your forces are in one spot, scouts just really get worked by almost everything. It could get shotguns, sure, but I've also seen that fail. I think a heavy bolter in this case is actually pretty good. Aniketos has just built heavy bolter. Interesting, both sides going for suppression now. Wicked has just bought a warrior brood and is just finished upgrading them with a Barb Strangler, which I'll shorten to BS. I think it's a little bit, it's like the only mobile suppression in the game right now. I think Rangers used to have it, which was pretty rad, but now Warriors have it. Didn't like Warriors in the first place. I don't like seeing them having that, but it's good. I don't know how good it is really against Marines. I mean, it's good if they clump up, maybe suppress that Devastator squad and then charge it. Might be neat. Well, Apothecary being really ballsy. I mean, I think he can at least lure them in. That's okay. I see. Of course, luring them to the dev squad, but later on I can see that being very effective. I mean, I found when you upgrade the Apothecary with a power axe and he's leveled up a bit, he's a pretty beefy melee hero. Maybe not against other heroes, but certainly getting up in warrior broods and all that. Scouts in melee here with Hormagaunts pushes him back. I don't know if he's gonna. Attacks not really pulling their weight, kind of odd. Devastator getting out of there, thankfully. Termagant's left. Apothecary is fighting the warrior brood in melee, trying to get out of there. Looks like he will. Could have forced melee'd with his warriors and probably killed that apothecary. He had about 100 health left. Whatever. Hive Tyrant might go down. Might be smart to retreat him here. Attack Marines would do good to melee. They don't. Termagant's used to try and, I guess, try to tie up those Marines. Don't manage to do it. Kind of a lull battle here. I mean, both forces kind of low health, being ineffective. Barb Strangler, quite a lot of damage now. Oh, one attack Marine goes down. Wow. Okay. So Warrior Brood with Barb Stranglers are RBS. I mean, that was very effective melee combat from them. You know, meleeing attack Marines is no small feat. I mean, they have they have tank hands. They're pretty decent melee fighters. I mean, they'll finish off Banshee squads, and they're a hard counter to them. So that's pretty impressive that the Warrior Brood can still go up like that. I guess they don't lose any damage in melee. Of course, they don't have the option to get AG glands later, but whatever. If they're winning early game, you don't need them. Both players have power farms. Aniketos is a bigger one. Not spending his power. I don't know why he's not going. He's going T2 right now. Speak of the devil. Wasn't really paying attention to their power here. I guess Wicked has just recently put up this power farm. Yeah, he's finishing it off now at the 3rd gen. I think he could have built that earlier. He had a pretty good, he was holding those Marines in the leftmost VP area while he has the right side locked down. Nothing's going there right now. He's got he's got all his Gaunt squads upgraded. He's got all his units upgraded right now, besides his Raveners, which I don't think their upgrades are worth it anymore, as it doesn't do vehicle damage. And they're better just to get up there and fight in melee, I think. Aniketos doing maybe the only thing he can do right now against a Nid force like this early game is just defending his generators and waiting it out until T2. Fortunately, that does mean that the Nids are going to be able to safely go to T2 as well. But I mean, I don't think there's anything else Aniketos can really do right now, especially with that suppression and with those Raveners. I don't really see why Wicked isn't assaulting this right now with Raveners. I mean, Raveners are the counter to setup teams. He should be getting in there and charging in with all his forces. But the Heavy Bolter's doing a good job. I mean, okay, so now there's trouble. Aniketos has just gone to T2, and right away both his attack squads upgrade with Plasma, and that Warrior Brood is just melting, and it seems like they've forgotten about this Heavy Bolter. The Raveners have jumped in, but not before all these forces have been suppressed for a bit. Should get that Heavy Bolter out of there, or try and move it back. Oh, I don't know about that. Full retreat while you're in a melee tangle. I think he could have microed out of that instead of doing a full retreat. Now he can kiss his gen farm goodbye. That could be a turnaround here. That's something you don't want to give your opponent. I mean, you give them that option. I mean, he's retreated fairly close to his base, but those gens are gone. At least 2 of them. So what he's got to do right now, he's either inflict some pretty heavy casualties now on this Tyranid force, or push them back to their gen farm and do a mirror of what was just done to him. He's also got to watch out for VPs. I mean, he's negated the right side of the map where the VPs are. The one side with both VPs, so it's a disadvantage here. Raveners might go down. They take more damage while they're jumping, because I guess it counts as them burrowing, and that's the case with any burrowing unit, and they're down. So that's a good start. The these Gaunts have retreated, and these warriors can't do anything against all this power weaponry. Aniketos' Apothecary now has, of course, purification rights, AoE knockback whenever he heals a unit. Broodnest goes down there, and the Power Axe, which is basically an anti-warrior weapon. So he needs to get up on this gen farm here. Termagant's now, of course, getting wasted using that cripple shot. I think players will eventually get used to when you should use a Termagant squad and when you should bother spending the money on upgrading it with cripple shot, because it's just dumb. I mean, you use cripple shot and then run away. That doesn't do anything. Aniketos catching Wicked, not quite looking at his warriors there. Takes one out. Doesn't retreat them, just walks them back to base. It's kind of strange. Left side, he's pushing back. He's got new Raveners. I don't know about that. I think he's already... Aniketos has already proven... Oh, what a kill zone. This heavy bolter here and his attack squads. He's already proven that he's going to take out any heavy infantry that the Tyranids have, although they've just torn apart this heavy bolter squad and might take it out. Looks like they will. Oh, pops AOD, and that heavy bolter gets away, and he pushes the Nids off from their power farm. Now he can have his way with this power farm here. Gotta still consider those Raveners are, jumping around in the back. They're gonna cap this VP. Upgraded one of his scout squads with the sniper rifle. Interesting. Building a Razorback. That's going to be a game ender, I believe. Wicked has a lot of power, but he's got to spend his rec on just reinforcing and all that right now, I think. Well, no, he's reinforced already. He could get something, but it's going to be behind. He's going to have to deal with that Razorback and all this power weaponry. Yeah, Nids just maybe should have just swarmed a bit more, I think. Aniketos is definitely see, full retreat again. I don't understand that. He definitely could have finished off that Ravener brood and taken out that warrior brood, and I mean that would have been probably forced all those Gaunts to retreat after that. Okay, he is bringing out his Razorback and he's going to force a retreat there, but could have maybe ended the game right now instead of retreating like that. Maybe he has a good reason for it, but just from looking at this right now, it seems like Aniketos could do with maybe just trying to stick it out more in fights. At least in this game, as I said, I haven't seen many of his games. This is the first game I think I've seen of his that I remember, at least. Hive Tyrant from Wicked has the Venom Cannon. That is going to be an all-in-one counter to tax, to scouts, to the Razorback, to everything. But he's all alone, so he's not really effective. He's gonna keep that Razorback out of the fight, and maybe keep this scout squad repairing for a bit of the game. If he keeps doing this, kind of just come out and getting a few shots off, but he's got to pull off a full assault here. Termagant's doing all they can do, run around cap and be forced off because they don't do any damage really, and they die like flies. Wicked just going for the VP rush right now. I mean, could work playing a bit of a guerrilla war here. But Aniketos building a plasma dev squad could be a ace in the hole there if he keeps it out of the line of sight of Wicked's units and maybe gets a nice shot off. Probably wants to attack ground with it. Doesn't auto target very well. He could get that blob. He's definitely bandbox selecting these units and throwing them around. It looks like so. A good plasma dev shot there might do some heavy damage. Moving back there, good choice. See, now might be the time to retreat. When you see that happening. Although, okay, he's got that covered. He's got his plasma dev set up. Oh, Got his AoE heal, got his shotgun knockback, looking pretty good. Gaunts, good flank by the Gaunts, but they're just outgunned here. They managed to tie him up, but not in time. Good infliction of casualties on that tack squad, but I mean, they both got masses of troops right now, and Aniketos are Space Marines, so they're leveled up a bit. They're obviously more resilient, and they've got a hero that can heal them up a bit, keep them fresh. So definitely has the advantage, even though he's terribly, behind on VPs. But as it should be, I think the player who gets map control and wins battles can eventually, even if he's at 1 VP, he can just sit back and control the map until the ticker goes down, because he's got control. But so looks like Wicked's really determined to take this Razorback down, but I don't think that's his biggest problem. I mean, it's a problem, but just these tack squads and these support weapons are being, he's taking care of his support weapons. Ironically, he's supporting his support weapons very well, and they're being allowed to just kind of mop up. I think he's got to concentrate on trying to get rid of those. Good Raveners in there. Unfortunately, AOD goes up. I kind of like how AOD is now, in that it Razorback might go down here though. It doesn't obviously get that effect as a vehicle, but yeah, it goes down. It's the Venom Brood, but it's not. I forget how long it was before, but it's a fairly long time, and it was 500 zeal. So it was kind of like, you either do that or you get an orbital bombardment. And of course, when OB was kind of nerfed, you just get AOD at the right time. That's your big nuke kind of payoff. But now it's a lot more tactical. It's like, I need to be invincible just to win this one battle, this small skirmish. Probably won't help you much in a big battle if you're outgunned anyways, because when it wears off, you can still be torn up if you're outpositioned. But in a battle like that, where you've just been flanked or you've just gotten jump troops on you, might lose your support weapons, the linchpin of your strategy. You can AOD and kind of save the day, which Aniketos smartly did there, and I think that's way better. So obviously, 30 seconds left. Aniketos has won this. I previously saw Aniketos posting that maybe even in this game, posting that he thought SM really needed a stronger melee option, especially in T1 play. But I think he's Plasma Cannon is devastating. All those nids go down. Wow. But as you can see, I mean, played well. Space Marines are very similar to how you want to play, how you would have played Eldar before Banshees were really a viable option, in that you just work at drawing your enemy into kill zones, like you saw Aniketos going out there with his Apothecary and kind of luring some units back into his heavy bolter arc. Just, that sort of thing. Getting your enemy into spots where they're going to get shot up, take casualties, and then you kind of fight a little bit of a war of attrition against them. And your units level up, as Space Marines do, and then you have the long game advantage. That's just what the Space Marines are. I don't think they need a melee option, and yeah, I think Aniketos kind of proved that to himself, that, I think just when you lose a Space Marines, it's because you didn't do any of this, or something slipped up, or you're playing a good nid player, or whatever, any other player that just knows how to effectively counter whatever you're doing, or how you're using your units as Space Marines, which I don't think is too hard to do, because Space Marines have so few units out on the field at one time early game. If you can survive past early game and protect your power farm, I think you have a pretty good chance, because at least you're on even footing. You can control the match a bit. You might be getting rocked early game and getting pushed back, but at least you still have your power farm, so you can keep up with them into T2. That's what's important. That's all you can do, and obviously it can work. So Yeah, I think that was a good game. I would have liked to see maybe less, not idling maybe, but just kind of slow reaction time on Wicked's part. And again, Termagants, don't build Termagants. At least build them situationally instead of building them as sort of your starting build order. Because I think you can build 3 Hormagon squads, or build 2 and have 3 from your starting Horm, and then see that maybe you need Cripple to slow down some kind of unit to catch them with your Hormagons. I don't think they're a good starting unit. They just get ripped up. And at least when you have lots of Hormagons, it pushes your opponent into dealing with, holding those Hormagons at bay. I think that's the scariest thing that a Tyranid player can do, is just force you into melee and scare you off the map, push you off everything, and get an early game advantage. And yeah, the Nid player just didn't manage to do that, in part, I think, thanks to the Termagon squad. I mean, it seems like a small thing, but that's one unit, nearly the cost of a Hormagon squad that is really doing nothing, and you're kind of putting yourself back there, and that's supposed to be the Space Marine weakness, is that you don't have many units to cap with. But here he was, kind of, eventually being overwhelmed by Space Marines. That shouldn't be the case. Yeah, it was a good game, good to watch. Yeah. So Mexico signing off.